Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about U.S. sources believe that Iran missiles mistakenly shot down the Ukrainian airliner right after this.
Because I am hard, you will not like me. But the more you hate me, the more you will learn.
Welcome back to the channel. So what we have here is, yesterday I put out a video demonstrating what I thought was an aircraft that had been shot down because of the lighting and the explosions and things like that. So what I really want to do at this point is I went ahead and edited some of the video that I found from CNN and just kind of put in some of the relevant parts, and I want to go ahead and show that to you now, and we'll come back and talk about it in just a few minutes.
Some dramatic breaking news just into CNN on that Ukrainian Airlines flight that crashed, killing 176 people. Remember, this happened just after it took off in Iran on Wednesday. Let's get straight to the Pentagon and CNN's Barbara Starr. Barbara, what do we know?
Well, John, several U.S. officials across the administration are telling CNN, including our own Pamela Brown and Jim Sciutto, that the working theory now is that Iran mistakenly did shoot down that Iranian Boeing 737, the Ukrainian 737 civilian airliner that was flying through Iranian airspace, that it was mistakenly shot down, most likely by an Iranian missile. Mistakenly. No evidence that Iran deliberately did this. And in the president's appearance just now in the White House, he was asked about this very question, and it was most telling what he said. He said that it could have been a mistake by someone in Iran. The U.S. intelligence community and the U.S. military over that area, especially as events were unfolding with the attack on the U.S. bases by Iranian missiles in the hours before that, were collecting satellite data, radar data, and they went back certainly and looked and scrubbed every piece of that data.
I did two clips here, one with her, one with the next one.
Event,
the next one's going to show you a little bit more information.
That could have hit the civilian airliner of Ukraine, or could have exploded so close to the airliner that it proved to be catastrophic. Apparently, they have found some data indicating this. It could be very possible, CNN is told, that this is a fog of war incident, that the Iranian missile unit, the troops on the ground in Iran at that point, perhaps saw something on their own radar returns, perhaps thought they were under attack and fired. This is why, of course, I think the international aviation community is so anxious to see the black boxes from that airliner to get as much data as they can. But at least for today, right now, Iranian civilian aviation authorities are still not willing to share those black boxes with the international aviation safety community. So at the moment, what it appears to be is what intelligence agencies can derive from looking at the data. We should add that we now know, of course, the U.S. intelligence community in close cooperation with Canadian intelligence services, because they, of course, had a number of their own citizens on board that commercial airliner. John?
Here we go. This is how we test for missile explosives.
CNN's Fred Pleitgen on the ground in Tehran. Again, grateful to have you there, Fred, at this very important time. Let's bring in CNN transportation analyst Mary Schiavo, joining us now from Charleston, South Carolina. Mary, I just want to emphasize the Pentagon, U.S. officials are telling CNN this is an operating theory, that they do not have definitive evidence yet, but they clearly believe they have some clues that it is possible that an anti-aircraft missile, some surface-to-air missile, could have been responsible for this. Help me with your expertise. Would the black boxes prove or disprove that?
Well, it could, but unfortunately for a missile strike, and it appears in this case, whatever happened instantaneously, the black box would not capture a missile striking. They would just capture that all of the data ceased flowing, that the plane stopped functioning correctly, that it stopped transmitting data. The cockpit voice recording could certainly capture the noises of a strike, and the pilots might have had time to say a few words. but an external strike of a missile on the flight data recorder would not be captured in any way that would say this is a missile. However, from the MH17 shoot down, we know that it's very readily available to test the pieces for the explosives from a missile, and that signature is different than any explosion from aviation fuel. Same thing they did in TW-800 way back in 1996. They tested for explosives.
All right, you heard it right from the horse's mouth. I mean, there's different tests that they can do to test for the explosive from a missile versus jet fuel. They don't need the black box. I find it really funny that Iran will not turn over the black box. To me, that's a red flag, honestly. That's just my opinion, but they may have their own reasons for that. Honestly, if we have to evaluate some of those reasons, it could be that they don't want to face financial consequences or even acts of war or anything like that. Do I believe it was an accident? I do definitely believe it was an accident, but accidents happen. That's great, but you got to man up and you got to pay for it. You got to admit to it. You got to work with people to make sure that you make it right. I mean, nothing's going to bring back the loss of those people, but hiding the black box does not do you a lot of good when everyone already suspects that you are on a bigger agenda. That's just honestly my opinion, but I'd like to know what you think in the comments below. And as always, go ahead and subscribe to me or follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also subscribe and like this channel. And if there's anything else that I can help you with, leave your comments below. I will respond to those comments. As always, stay safe and stay sane out there and stay woke.